You're watching 1700. We're at the Corner Hotel, joined by Amanda Palmer. Welcome to 1700.
Hi.
Good to see you're bright and happy. Now, of course, on behalf of our executive producer Tim, he'd like to welcome you back to Melbourne. Now, we do know that
So happy to be here.
We know that Melbourne is one of your favourite cities.
It is. I love it here.
Second to New York, I believe.
It's kind of apples and oranges. They're really, really different. But I absolutely love being here. I have an obsession, bordering on an obsession with Melbourne.
Well, would that be the reason behind the slumber party you had a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
Is there any other particular reason, or just because you loved Melbourne so much?
No,
and you
it's
wanted to
not.
spend some time?
It wasn't just Melbourne. It was that particular club. I don't know if you've ever been to the Butterfly Club, but it is this incredible sort of bar, club, little vaudeville theater that's built into an old Victorian townhouse. And the minute I walked in it last year, I was just like, I'm at home. It looks a lot like my house at home.
Oh, okay.
In a lot of ways. So it felt like a second home, and they treated me like a daughter. And so I said, the next time I come back to Melbourne, I've got to do something here, whether it's a contest or a private show or an after show or something. And so that's what I came up with. But I knew I couldn't. I didn't want to sell tickets to the show because it's only 40 people. So I held a contest, and I had people send in their dreams, and we picked 20 and gave them each a guest.
Now, of course, tonight's show is Amanda Palmer and the Danger Ensemble. For the viewers that aren't too familiar with it, do you want to tell us a bit about it?
The Danger Ensemble is an incredible group of performance artists, physical theater actors, basically, and they all hail originally from around Brisbane. And they started in a company called, most of them, called Zen Zen Zo, and then they broke off and created their own company called the Danger Ensemble, basically just to come on tour with me. So the director, Stephen Mitchell Wright, sort of created these pieces of theater to go along with my touring show, and so since September they've been all over the States with me, all over Europe, and now we're all back home, for them at least, in Australia. And it's kind of hard to describe what they do, but it's sort of like live music video stage weirdness for the song. Some of it is really, really like upbeat and peppy and weird and burlesque, and then some of it is really heavy and intense.
And of course, if anyone sort of wanted to check anything out, they could have a look on your MySpace page, which you personally update.
I do.
Now, there's a lot of things that sort of goes on your MySpace page, and you've also mentioned something about how there's a changing face to the music industry now. Do you see MySpace as sort of one of those parameters?
Yeah, well, I think MySpace, like everything else online, like my blog, like Facebook, like Twitter, all those things are basically just tools, and they're always changing and filtering out, and you know, in 10 years probably no one will be using any of those things because everything changes so quickly. But the important part is that the fan base and the artist and that relationship is becoming much more powerful, and it wasn't even possible in the 80s or the early 90s when I was a teenager and a music fan to have any kind of contact at all really with the artists that was even remotely personal. I mean, the best you would get is maybe if they were a small enough band, you'd meet them after a show, or if they were the kind of like genius artist who, you know, occasionally answered fan mail, maybe that sort of thing would happen. But there was no way anything at this level could have happened, and so there's just huge ongoing conversation between me and the fans, which makes it very human and very family, and I can directly answer questions publicly, and I love it. I just love that that's possible. It also, it's like a full-time job, and it can be really consuming because I get ideas all the time, and the blog is like almost taken on its own life.
Yeah.
But I like it, and you know, I can stop anytime.
One of the most important things to sort of come out of this so-called online revolution is the fact that Amanda Palmer as an artist is a fairly prestigious name in Australia. Like, you know, most of us who know you love you. The fact that you're so accessible, is that really important for you? Like, do you...
To be accessible?
To your fans?
Yeah, I think it is, because I think the minute you're not accessible, you become kind of not human. And it's really important to me to never, I don't ever want to feel like a famous person or like I'm in a different class of people. The thing that freaks me out about seeing like actual celebrities is that they just seem like they can't interact with the real world, and they're like this other, like, alien kind of person.
Kind of like behind the pane of glass.
Yeah. And, you know, that's... I consider myself really lucky that I really like people and that I'm really social. Because if I wasn't, I might end up trapped there anyway. Because I think what happens to musicians who are just kind of antisocial or shy or don't like the whole hanging out with the fans thing is that they wind up getting put in that box whether they want to be there or not. And you have to really work hard at being connected and human, because if you just kind of back off and don't interact at all, that's when people start putting all sorts of information onto you and making up ideas and stories about you that aren't real in their minds.
What's the most interesting fake story you've sort of read or heard or seen about yourself?
Oh, that I'm a man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not a man. I mean, I could prove it right now, but I'm not going to because there are kids watching.
That might break our PG rating, unfortunately, but...
Sorry.
And so, in regards to tonight's show, what can fans look forward to? Apart from already all the weirdness and insanity that you've kind of given
I don't know.
us a glimpse into.
It's a mystery what's going to happen tonight.
Apart from the fact that
I think it's
rehearsed.
going to be an insanely good show. It's sold out. This place is beautiful. The fans here are crazy. I'm really looking forward to it.
And of course, Melbourne being one of your favourite places.
Yeah.
What are the chances? I mean, you've got a very, very hectic schedule ahead of you. What are the chances of you sort of coming back to visit us later this year?
They're pretty much 100%. My fantasy is to come back to Australia kind of November, December of next year and stay for a good long while.
2 weeks?
No, like 3 months. And a good chunk of it in Melbourne.
Residency, or just here to have a holiday?
Hang out on Brunswick Street and hit every cafe every day.
You can host a slumber party at the House of Sin.
I could do that.
Yeah, Student Youth Network has their own little house, and you can host a party upstairs.
Awesome.
And of course, some of you viewers might be lucky enough to score an invite. We hope so.
Maybe.
We'll keep working on Amanda for you. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us come into the corner and hang out with you and watch a little bit of the sound check.
It's no problem. And go to the website, go to amandapalmer.net, and anything and everything, the blog and all the tour dates are up there. And also sign the mailing list, which is up at amandapalmer.net, because the book that I just created with Neil Gaiman is going to be available for pre-order sometime in the next few weeks.
How exciting.
And if you're not on the pre-order list or the mailing list, chances are you probably won't get a copy, and it's beautiful.
Just all photographs of you, so...
It's 100 photographs of my corpse in different places in the world, plus stories by Neil Gaiman. Very cheerful.
Not entirely sure which part of that's more intriguing. The fact that it's, you as a corpse or words by Neil Gaiman.
Both. Get it for both. Do it for me and Neil.
I think Neil will thank us all for that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Amanda, and you're watching 1700.
That's nice.